Bhumi Pednekar, with her creative choices, especially as she made her foray into films, impressed everyone. An actor who never embarked upon the path of convention, and through her several roles, we saw a formidable actor who seemed to stand for cinema that is compelling and something that Hindi cinema can be proud of. Momentarily, however, we saw a slight shift in her choices, a caution of worry for me as I admired her fearlessness that she showcased at the commencement of her career. It may just be the case of an actor trying a spectrum of roles, but after finishing Bhakshak, I just got reminded of why I loved Bhumi in her roles and her choices. These were the hard-hitting roles audiences love to see her in, and Bhakshak is another example of the indie parallel of Red Chillies entertainment that deserves so much praise. For Shah Rukh Khan makes his tentpole spectacles with himself in the lead in his own production company, and we know the strides that the company is making from a VFX point of view. But it's so fascinating to see his company back movies like Kamyab with Sanjay Mishra, a hard-hitting thriller like Ittifaq, a disturbing murder thriller like Love Hostel with a menacing Bobby Deol, co-produced the hilariously inventive Darlings with a stupendous cast, and now Bhakshak. This is where a star puts his money where his mouth is, beyond his commercial goals. Bhakshak focuses on Vaishali Singh, played by Bhumi Pednekar, who is a journalist working in Bihar in a small news channel called Koshish News, with a loyal cameraman Bhaskar Sinha, played by Sanjay Mishra. Upon learning about the horrifying crimes being committed in a shelter home in Munawwarpur through a social audit report and the lack of investigation taking place on the same, Vaishali makes it her goal to make an active difference despite the ramifications that may come in holding people in positions of power accountable for their heinous crimes, especially Bansi Sahu, played by Aditya Srivastav. This gripping investigative thriller directed by Pulkit is inspired by the 2018 Muzaffarpur case in Bihar, the particulars of which will give you chills on how humans in the garb of ordinary folk roam around the streets only to be exposed as ruthless barbarians behind closed doors. The film exposes us to the barbaric nature of humans at their worst from the onset, when men and their barbaric nature and sexual deviances has no limit in age. We are immediately transported to the lawlessness of this world, where it takes an individual of only great might to fight against such hounds. It is representative of the last stage of the Kalyug, where the world is surrounded by just conflict and sin. One hopes and prays there to be effective change from such misery. God-fearing men surround us everywhere who at the drop of a hat forget their piousness as they become savages against the innocent, and Vaishali takes time to realize it is only the effective change that can be executed by her that can make them repent for such sins. Vaishali and her pursuit of the case over time and the mediocrity that is set in her life is reflective of most of us in life, in routine setting in and to only associate with the news and work that affects us. Problems are to be dealt with if they come knocking at one's doorstep, and the active pursuit of the news that matters is something we want to turn a blind eye to. Surya Sharma as Vaishali's husband, Arvind, acts as a reminder of the same, a representation of a couple that have their fair share of arguments but whose core moral values are often aligned. This is the fight of the common man, to be fearful of upsetting everyone and tread the path of the least conflict. But for how long? The movie beautifully showcases the personal and professional pressure of a working woman too, the expectations that arise from them at a certain age, and how the mounting bickering can often make individuals feel the path of least resistance may be their ultimate fate. Durgesh Kumar is a brilliant addition to this film as the informer for Koshish News, often bickering with Bhumi and especially Sanjay Mishra for his payments for intel. It immediately reminded me of his effortless presence in Panchayat, extracting some of the funniest scenes in an otherwise disturbing investigative thriller. The most frustrating part of the film is realizing the red tape and the layers of bureaucracy the common man has to go through in this country to seek for truth and justice. Just the apathy that one has for the downtrodden and abused, and how every step in the pursuit of the same is a test of your perseverance and willingness to keep going. The film is definitely not meant for the faint-hearted, as a witness recalls what she saw in the shelter home, where kids have an expectation of finally defining a place as somewhat representative of warmth and comfort, becoming an extension of horror and misery. You can't help yourself but look away at how humans could reach such depths of savagery. The racket that carries on undetected is painful to witness. Even more disturbing disturbing when you realize it's based on true events. Aditya Srivastav as Bansi Sahu is so unlikable that in several portions you want to smack the smug smile off his face, a true testament to an effective performance. The film incorporates some beautiful music in its screenplay as well, something that is released just a day before the film's release. I would highly recommend you listen to Ganga and Shamil Hai. They truly are representative of Vaishali's lone battle for the truth. The film also effectively sheds light on the state of Indian journalism and the lack of attention that compelling news stories get as they seek for the truth versus the constant pursuit of what is popular. The views not increasing of a shocking revelation and news report on Koshish News' YouTube channel is exactly representative of the current environment of journalism today that is mostly associated with shouting matches and being PR machinery for the majority. I absolutely fell in love with the dynamic shared between Sanjay Mishra and Bhumi, like of a father and daughter. Sanjay Mishra in a scene where he needs to play act to create a rift between the animals guilty of the heinous crimes will leave you in absolute splits. Sai Tamankar in a brief role as the ally is formidable, and Bhakshak shapes up to be a worthy and gripping thriller from Hindi cinema that deserves your attention on Netflix. लेकिन छोड़िए, आज ये है कल कुछ और होगा। हमें तो कूल लगना है और ये कहना है कि हिंदी सिनेमा में अच्छी फिल्में नहीं बनती। कान ढक लीजिए, क्यों सुनेंगे? सुनेंगे तो अंदर की संवेदना जाग जाएगी।